Istanbul, a city shaped by centuries of movement. The traces are everywhere. You see it in the architecture, in its neighborhoods, in daily life, in the people. But maybe nowhere more clearly than in the food. Because here, what people eat tells a story of migration, trade, and exchange, preserved across generations, yet always evolving.
But what can we learn from what we eat here?
Bu yolculuk, bu bitmeyen bir yol.
They share the same table, the same food.
Expands and it changes.
I'm Elif Bereketli. I'm spending a single day in Istanbul to understand what this food really is. Beyond the landmarks, beyond the noise, there is another story here.
Sure, you can walk through it, you can read about it, you can photograph it. But there's another way to understand this place, more immediate, more intimate perhaps than any book. Eat something and pay attention, because in Istanbul, one bite reveals centuries.
In a city this large, time becomes valuable. People learn to move quickly, which makes it interesting that one of Istanbul's most persistent traditions is sitting down together before the day begins. Because here, breakfast isn't just a meal, it matters. I'm meeting Aylin Öneytan, who's spent decades tracing connections through food. Not just what's on the plate, but where it came from, who carried it, and why it stayed. And she's about to change the way I think about classic Turkish breakfast table.
There it is. You know, it always surprises me how much ends up on the table. How would you describe it? What's going on this table now?
A lot is going on. Actually, there are lots of different little plates, both sweet and savory. Actually, there are some basics that you have to have on the table. One thing that's certain to have is cheese and olives, which is interesting because olives, especially the green olives, are confined to the happy hour in the Western culture, whereas we start the breakfast practically by olives. And this is the first I go for because I love the Turkish style cured olives. It's salt cured. And when we look at the history of it, it goes back to maybe millions of years because Anatolia, Asia Minor, is considered to be the native land for olives, and the simit has been here since ages. Simit-like things, breads. People sometimes refer it to as Turkish bagel, but I do not. But in a way, it's true because it's the ancestor of bagel.
Tea also keeps the table going. It's sort of more than a drink, isn't it?
You are so right. It keeps the table going. Maybe that's why we have such a Turkish breakfast spread.
Turkish coffee was the national drink for centuries. But coffee doesn't grow in Anatolia, the peninsula that makes up most of modern-day Turkey. After the founding of modern Turkey, the country planted tea instead and became one of the world's largest producers. Almost none of it leaves the country.
The cured sausages, sucuk in Turkish, and the eggs. Sucuk is, you can maybe think of as chorizo or merguez. So it's spicy, a little bit garlicky. Pishi is kind of a very old tradition. Interestingly, in many parts of Turkey, we have it after the deceased. This is because we have this shamanistic roots from Central Asia, the Turkic tradition. If one family member dies, after he or she goes away, you fry pishi or lokma, and the smell of the fireplace, goes up to the sky, and in a way reaches the deceased one.
I see many types of cheese here on the table. I'm guessing they're not really related, are they?
Yeah, they're all from all over the places and different traditions. Well, the basic cheese we have is the white cheese, and we always like to pair it with tomatoes. And then we have tulum. Tulum means the bagpipe, actually, the animal skin casing. And then it's a very nomadic tradition, so the best comes from the eastern mountain terrains. And then there's one cheese that's quite interesting over there, which is kashar. And my theory is it's a legacy of the Sephardic Jews, and they brought their cheese making traditions with them. And this cheese is called kashar. Think about kosher. So that is the link.
This is not just a cheese platter, it's almost like a map of Anatolia, of Turkey,
Yeah,
right?
you know, with every bite you have another depth of history in a way.
You know what's interesting for me is that no one tells you how to eat this. You come up with your own bite, you come up with your own platter. You're almost like a curator. You are the chef yourself.
Yeah, exactly. You get the point. There's no sequence.
Tea keeps the table going, but then what does coffee do to the table?
Coffee is now the end.
The finish line.
Yeah, the finish line.
Let's go to the finish line.
Breakfast in Turkish is kahvaltı, from kahvealtı, what you eat before coffee. In Ottoman times, people ate just 2 meals a day. When coffee arrived in Istanbul in the 1500s, it was strong and bitter on an empty stomach. So they took a small bite first. That bite became breakfast.
What makes Turkish coffee different than other types of coffees?
It is very finely ground, and you know, it's not filtered. It's brewed together with the sugar in it or without sugar, and there has to be a creamy froth on top. So you kind of boil the coffee together with the coffee grounds, and then wait a few minutes for them to settle in the cup, and then drink it. And if you think about the spread of coffee elsewhere in the world, it started from Istanbul.
The last sip is the signal. Breakfast is over. The day has actually started.
You know, it was really interesting to talk to Aylin because she kind of sharpened something for me. You look at that table and everything has a voice and nothing's trying to dominate. So many cultures, so many traditions, so many histories are there sitting together at that table, and it somehow holds. And at that point it clicks. Maybe the beauty of it is not only about what you eat, but also about the idea of dealing with complexity without feeling the need to resolve it.
Empires don't just build monuments, they build systems. And for more than 6 centuries, the Ottoman Empire stretched across 3 continents, connecting people, ingredients, and ideas. One of its most sophisticated systems wasn't political, it was culinary. Özge Samancı spent years studying Ottoman cuisine. She traces how food moved through empire and how the empire moved through food. For lunch, she took me to a restaurant bringing back to life old Ottoman recipes.
Çok teşekkürler.
Now, this is looking great. So this is what sultans and diplomats and the elites in the Ottoman Empire would eat, right?
Yes, these are some examples of the dishes served to the Ottoman elites in the Ottoman palace, especially prior to 19th century.
So what have you chosen for us today? What are we
So
having?
this is the beginning, firstly. First of all, we have some pickles. These are beetroot pickles. And we have 2 dishes. The first one called boraniye. Boraniye made of spinach, sauteed spinach served with yogurt. We have stuffed apples called tüffahiye. Tüffah means apple, and apples stuffed with minced meat. Minced meat flavored with some almonds and raisins and cinnamons, and the flavor is sweet, sour, and salty. And this mixture of three tastes reflect the taste of the time of the classical era, which shows the influence of the medicinal perspective of the time.
So they used to actually eat this to cure illnesses.
Yes, at the beginning the idea is to cure the illness, but in time it is forgotten and only the taste dominates the choices.
To modern tastes, Ottoman food can feel surprising. Meat cooked with fruit, rice scented with rosewater, savory dishes touched with sweetness. The goal wasn't intensity, it was harmony.
Wow. So, what is this? Because I know this is rice.
Goose kebab.
Goose kebab.
Goose, yes.
Okay. Was this a staple in the Ottoman palace?
A kebab is roasting method, and the Ottomans, they love meat, especially lamb and mutton, not beef and veal, and the fowl and the game, like goose or partridge.
An empire on a plate, honey from the Greek islands, clarified butter from the Black Sea, apricots from Damascus. The best of every region, traveling to one kitchen with 1,500 cooks, preparing 3,000 meals a day.
Oh, nihayet tatlı geldi.
Dessert time. So, what desserts have you chosen?
Oh, the classical helva. Helva-i Hakaniye means helva of sultans. And sütlü zerde, it is a rice pudding colored with saffron and flavored with some rose water and decorated with pine nut and raisins.
What kind of an influence what was cooked in the palace kitchens left behind the Ottoman imperial cuisine, the elite cuisine of Ottoman Empire?
We label the cuisine today according to the rise of the nation states late in the 19th century. Let's think about a period of an empire from 15th to 19th century, which is present covering all Balkan region, including Greece and islands and north of Africa, except Morocco and Middle East and most part of the Middle East countries. So this is the Ottoman Empire. And there we have a common denominator, which is food. At the end, after the dissolution of the empire, Ottoman Empire, we see the survival of a same shared gastronomic language, same terms of food, but interpreted in a different manner.
This is literally food for thought, what you just said. And my last question is actually about how Ottoman imperial cuisine, how Ottoman palace cuisine interacted with what people ate on the street. What was that relationship like?
The cooks in the Ottoman palace, they don't create recipes without an inspiration. Their inspirations comes from the culture, the food culture of the street, the food culture of the common people, the food culture of a big geography. The Ottoman palace cuisine is not something totally separated from the food culture of the common people from street or from Anatolia.
What surprised me was how much of Ottoman palace cuisine was already out in the city. Yes, the palace refined it, but the ideas were already there. Once you see that, the street culture here starts looking differently.
Out here, history falls into everyday life. This is where Istanbul feeds itself. Quickly, constantly. A much shorter distance between hunger and food. You see something, you take it, and without thinking, you step into something older than you. Start with the oldest problem. How do you make food last? Pickling, fermenting. On Istanbul's streets, that can look like a glass of pickle juice.
Merhaba. Turşu suyu almak istiyorum. Salatalık olsun. Biraz da pancar lütfen.
Every culture that passed through the city had a version of it. Different ingredients, but same solution.
Teşekkür ederim. Salty, sharp, and very uplifting. This is centuries in a glass.
Or you preserve nothing at all. You cook where people already are. Balık ekmek. Fish, bread, lemon. Fast, direct. At some point, a fisherman looked at the water and thought, why sell the fish raw? Cook it here. Feed people here. Dock workers, sailors, anyone hungry. Just the golden horn and the smell of the grill.
Why would you change it?
Then you adapt. Çiğ köfte. Raw meatball. Except there's rarely meat in this anymore. Legend says a king banned fire, so people improvised. Now, spice, bulgur, technique, and a name that refused to change. Reinvented without letting go of where it came from.
Teşekkür ederim. Çok sağ olun.
That's a very Istanbul move. Some things barely change at all.
Teşekkür ettim. Çok sağ olun.
Simit, bread, sesame, a perfect circle, sold on these streets for centuries. Once carried through the city on poles with lanterns, so people could spot them in the dark. Now they're on every corner. Cheap, portable, familiar. You grab one without thinking and keep moving. And usually there's ayran with it.
Yogurt, salt, water. Nomadic Turkish communities used to drink versions of this many centuries ago because diluted yogurt traveled better on the go. Today, it's part of everyday life here. Still simple, still doing the job.
Underneath all of it, the same simple ideas keep repeating. Wrap something good and carry it with you. İçli köfte. Spiced meat inside a bulgur shell. Thousands of years of the same instinct. Wrap something inside something sturdy and pass it on. Different kitchens, same gesture. And once the essentials are covered, there's room for a little play. Maraş dondurma. Been around since the Ottoman Empire. It doesn't melt the way you expect. It stretches, it resists. And getting it from the vendor, that's a whole other story. No one designed this system. No one wrote it down, but it works. Shaped over centuries by memory, by necessity, by ritual. And when rituals survive long enough, they stop feeling like ritual. They become culture. Food culture here offers surprisingly so much in one day, but we haven't even visited the oldest stories yet.
My family is Yörük, nomadic Anatolian. I've known this my whole life. But sometimes heritage sits in the background long enough, you stop asking what it actually means. Today, I'm meeting someone who hasn't stopped asking that.
Sometimes understanding where food is going starts with looking at what survived. For dinner, I'm going to a restaurant built on that idea. And on the question of what nomadic Anatolian cooking actually was, food traditions carried by Yörük communities as they moved across the region long before modern Turkey existed.
Aha,
Evet, hoş geldin Elif.
hoş bulduk. Merhaba. What are we having today?
Keçi tereyağı, keçi ayran tereyağı, batırık, yörük kadınlarının, Silifke Alanya arasındaki yörük kadınlarının öğleden sonra toplandıkları, kendilerine bir sosyalleşme alanı da yarattıkları bir bulgur köftesi diyebiliriz. Yine keçi peyniri, keçi yörüklerin olmazsa olmazı. Birazcık bal, bal da hayvancılıkla birlikte bölgede olduğu için aslında hep vardı. Bu da İstanbul sokaklarından bir tavuklu pilav. Tavuğun en sevdiğim yeri derisi. O yüzden çıtır bir deri üstünde bir tavuklu pilav var. Böyle başlayabileceğimiz atıştırmalıklar.
This is really good, really good. A little sour. I love it.
Birazcık tereyağı, keçi tereyağı. Çok az küflü peynir. Bal. Bu çam balı, Osmanlı'dan buraya kadar gelen tuzlu tatlı örneğinin yörüklere yansıması. Bu böyle yörüklerin küçük bir dürümü diyebiliriz.
This is layers of different flavors. They feel different, but then it all holds up. I wonder, what's your mission here?
Burada yola çıktığımız nokta benim köklerim. Yani ben yörüğüm. Kendim göçmesem de annem babam kıyıdan yukarıya, yukarıdan aşağıya ile göçen bir aile ve sonrasında okuyup kendi düzenlerini bizleri yetiştiren bir aile. Onlardan aldığım ipuçlarıyla, onların yollarından bir giderek aslında buradaki hikayeyi tamamladım ve yörük tohumuyla büyümeye başladı. Yavaş yavaş dalları Anadolu'nun diğer şehirlerine doğru gitmeye başladı. Şöyle yapayım. Şanlıurfa kıyma, ortasında bir et var. Aslında bir çeşit tartar da diyebiliriz. Tamamen geleneksel tarifi buraya taşıdığımız bir versiyon.
A cuisine built by necessity. Centuries before anyone called it sustainable, this was simply how you ate when you moved.
What defines Yörük Anatolian nomadic cuisine?
Yörük mutfağı böyle çok renkli, çok eğlenceli bir mutfak değil. Çünkü sürekli konar göçer bir yapı, yanında kolay taşınabilen, iyi saklanabilen malzemeleri dönüştürmek ve bu şekilde hayatına monte etmek zorunda. Kendi içinde aslında sürdürülebilir mutfağın temellerini oluşturuyor. Yani bir kuyruk yağını atmıyor, bir paçayı atmıyor, kemiği atmıyor.
What parts of Turkish cuisine as we know it today still carry that nomadic logic?
Çok güzel soru. Çünkü bizim olmazsa olmazımız olan o yine yeni trend fermentasyonun bizim soframızdaki yeri yoğurt, ayran, bunlardan yapılan bir sürü peynirler, kestirmeler var, çorbalar. Bunların hepsi Orta Asya'dan Anadolu'ya taşınmış. Oradan da şu anki zamanın mutfağına, bizim soframıza taşınmış. En bilindik, en gözüken bizim hayatımızda yörük etkileri diyebiliriz aslında. Şimdi hem Ege'den hem de doğudan bir kebap yapacağız. Sakız kebabı, Muğla sakız kebabı. Sakız ağacına sarılı, sakız ağacına saplanmış bir zırh kebabı. Kebapsız Anadolu mutfağı olmaz mesajını da işte bu kebabı istersen erik tava yap. Bu mesajı da yaptığımız bütün kebapların üstünde bir şekilde kullanıyoruz. Sana da şöyle vereceğim.
Tamam.
Şöyle. Direkt bu ekmeğiyle birlikte şöyle.
Teşekkür ederim.
Afiyetler olsun. Bu da Manisa'dan, Alaşehir'den bir Tatar yemeği. Tatar bir ustanın bölgeye taşındıktan sonra börek olarak satmaya başladığı ama işçilerin bunu yemekle, yemek, yoğurt vesaire diye isteye yemeğe dönüştürdüğü bir börek. Yoğurt ve et suyuyla birlikte servis ediyorlar. Biz de aynı şekilde. Çünkü bölgede adam bunu yiyor. Öğlene kadar çalışıyor, sonra paydos.
What can Anatolian nomadic Yörük approach to food teach us for future generations, for the future of food in Turkey?
Hala orada bir konar göçer bir oba var. Ve obanın yaşam biçimi şimdi dünyanın yeni trendi olan sürdürülebilirlik trendinin kökleri aslında. Keçi gezerken, göç ederken yerdeki kuru otları yiyor. Yangın riski minimize ediliyor. Göç gece konaklamak için konduğunda ateş yakarak yılanı, akrebi uzaklaştırmıyor. Kekikle, biberiye bir karışım yapıyor. Onunla tütsü yapıyor. Onunla etrafındaki yani yaşadığı ortamın diğer üyelerini de öldürerek uzaklaştırmıyor yani. Orası bir ders niteliğinde yeni dünyanın yaşam biçimine adapte olabilecek ipuçları barındırıyor.
The oldest food culture in this geography turns out to be the one closest to where the world is trying to go. Not because it was invented, because it was carried from a hillside into a kitchen onto this table.
Wow, really good.
Late at night, things simplify. You eat what's there, what works. And often, that means using what most people throw away.
Merhaba, bir çeyrek alabilir miyim? This is zero waste before it had a name, kokoreç. What most cultures throw away, this city grills over a fire and puts in a bread, and for good reason.
There is a philosophy behind eating spiced lamb intestines, shepherd culture, nothing wasted, not as a trend, as a habit shaped over generations. Kokoreç is just one version of it. Late at night, across the city, the same instinct keeps repeating. Make the most of what you have. A single day isn't enough to explain the food culture of Istanbul, but it's enough to notice that here, history isn't locked in the past. It's working, cooking, feeding, repeating itself, still in use. Centuries in a day, in a single bite.